Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Command Center, where we like to put our favorite commander, maybe even yours, front and center. And you know we can't do that unless we play those three confusing letters, EDH. What does it stand for today, Hadoken?
It stands for embarrassing, disgusting, and horrid. That's right. You know, there's a lot of stuff that comes out of Magic as far as mechanics and, different types of cards and all that. And, some things I just refuse to play because it's a waste of time. But before we go down that road, we'd like to give a shout out to our patrons.
That's right. We want to give a shout out to all the patrons who give to the Mana Squad and keep this channel afloat. It helps us create that great and awesome content that you love so much. Yeah, we're still working on the great part, but we'll get there one day. Work in progress. But thank you for bearing with us, and thank you for being part of the Mana Squad. And again, for all the old patrons and new patrons, check your email. We need to know what your favorite commanders are, so that way we can shout you out on each episode.
Otherwise, we're just gonna make them up for you.
Exactly.
Nobody wants that.
No, not at all. So I'm pretty sure that Joe's favorite commander is not Slogurk. All right, but hey, could be, could not be.
Slogurk is beautiful, and I love him.
We have a 1 in 40,000 chance of getting it right. So we want to go ahead and jump to this topic of discussion for today. Cards or mechanics or things about Magic that I can't.
And
I give up.
Yeah, these aren't even necessarily things we dislike or hate or have any negative feeling. It's just stuff that we just either refuse to learn or honestly, look, there's a lot of Magic cards. There's a lot of mechanics. We also technically have other things happening in our lives. Our brain can only hold so much. So at certain points, there's going to be some cards or mechanics that we just are not going to remember, no matter how many times we try to figure out what they are.
That's right. So I'll go ahead and give an example just to start us off, so that way you can get a better idea of what we're talking about. So for me personally, I have never really cared about any of the unsets. I think that there are some here and there are some cool cards, and of course all the cards do crazy bonkers things. That's what they're designed for. But when you start introducing them legally into the commander games, I'll say, hey, go ahead, do your thing. I don't care if you're playing on cards. Have your fun. I'm gonna have mine as well. It's to the point so much though that I don't even look at your board though, especially when we're talking about this new unset with the commander legal cards, specifically attractions. Sure, go ahead. I don't care what they do. You can tell me that they fart and win. I don't care.
Yeah, you're going to attract my foot into your body to play
Seeing the
this.
look on Sed's face when attractions get played, it's like the equivalent of when you're in like the end of like a 2-hour math lecture. And it's just like you're not even at that point pretending like you still want to know what's going on. It's just like glossed over. Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, so after I leave this class, I'm gonna close my book, put it in my bag. I'm gonna go over here, use the bathroom. I'm gonna go get some food. I'm not even thinking about what's happening right now. You can go ahead and resolve that math problem. I am already out the door in my head.
I'm gonna be 1,000%. Half the time, I think y'all lying when y'all play attractions. Like, I'm gonna look at you like a straight up criminal because you already taking additional time and you sitting there playing with yourself. And I'm not a voyeurist. I don't want to sit there and watch you play with yourself all day.
That's right. Some of us are not.
I know they're artifacts. You got to roll some dice. Then you just start pointing at stuff. It's
like a bad Vegas game.
Yeah, like you're rolling dice and flipping coins, and also like doing
like the thing where
cartwheels.
You gotta, like, rub your belly and pat your head at the same time or something like that.
Why are you A-Town stomping right now? That clearly does not say that on the card.
I just did that. I didn't know I could do that. But yeah, that's basically what I just played attractions. Look at that. I just played an attraction deck on camera for you.
Go ahead and tell us your
This attraction says holding a fart on the elevator. I fail.
My first mechanic or thing that just I cannot learn is the initiative. I know it gets played in other formats. It's like that thing. It's supposed to be similar. I have read this. I remember when it came out, I had every intention to learn it. I read it. I was like, okay, that seems simple enough. Then like a day later, I was like, wait, what does the initiative do? Let me read this again. And I've been doing that since it came out and do not remember anything. I'm going to read this real time.
You're going to school me because I learned initiative at one point and I forgot.
Watch the surprise on all of our faces for this mechanic that we've all seen at least 20 times. So whenever one or more creatures a player controls deals combat damage to you, that player takes the initiative. So like kind of the Monarch, I guess. Whenever you take the initiative and at the beginning of your upkeep, you venture into the Undercity. But if you're in a dungeon, you advance in your dungeon. If you're not, you go to the Undercity instead.
So pretty much you go to the Shadow Realm.
I just read it and I don't remember what it does.
So
It's hell.
So if a card you have has the initiative and I hit you, I have to take the initiative.
So no, I think when you enter, you get the initiative because it'll say that it's like the monarchy, except with dungeons and undercities.
It's hell. It's literally the 5th level of hell. That's exactly what it is.
That's what it's gonna feel like when I see somebody taking the initiative. Because
I'm
not gonna do it.
I'm gonna take this initiative and flip this table. The left hand gonna grip it, the right hand gonna flip it.
Hey, I love that initiative because I'm not. If a card tells me to take the initiative, I'm gonna say no.
Do you know what the where they get the letters INN for initiative from?
Mm-mm.
From the phrase "foot in,"
Uh-huh.
insert there.
Exactly.
That's for that.
The only initiative I recognize is the Avenger initiative.
Well, we have a job for you.
Mhm.
Have you heard of the Avengers?
I heard you know how to tether ball. They got Hawkeye on there, so they'll take anybody.
Found a member, baby.
Ken, what is your first?
Piggybacking off the initiative, I gotta go to dungeons in general. I will never play a dungeon. I don't even care if I accidentally put one in my deck or somebody gives me one. It says go to a dungeon. I'm gonna break out a dry erase marker, kindly scratch it out, and put F and U. I will never go to a dungeon. I'm sorry.
The only dungeon I recognize is Dungeon Family.
The only dungeons I recognize is Dungeon is Crab. Maybe even Dungeons and Dragons on occasions.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. We rock with that.
Mhm.
But yeah, going into a dungeon, nah.
I know how dungeons work. I don't remember any of the dungeons, and I refuse to put them in as well because
Wait. So taking the initiative and venture into a dungeon are not the same thing?
I don't know.
even though apparently the initiative can cause you to advance in a dungeon. Ken, I know why you don't like dungeons. Because it requires you to have a token with you. You can't use like a packet of ketchup as a dungeon token because there's specific things.
I've used a moist towelette, 2 Band-Aids, and a thumbtack. I've even used my phone case as a token one time.
Secretly, I think Ken loves dungeons. He just never has the token and it makes him sad.
So a dungeon's supposed to tell you what to do, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's got like a little path or something.
Sure. Okay. I believe you. I believe you.
You know what's mostly in dungeons? Dragons. As in dragon, my nuts across this card because I refuse to play it.
All right. So moving on, I'm gonna go to my another least favorite, probably my most least favorite thing about Magic in general. And you probably hear other people talk about this as well, but Mutate. I first learned what Mutate was, instantly got disappointed, and I was like, come on, Sid, think about the applications. Maybe you're missing something. Every time a new set would come out and you introduce new mechanics and all the stuff, I was like, okay, maybe this interacts in a funky way with Mutate that'll make it like Game Breaker, Game Busters. And I'm just like, nah, it's not really working. It's just making me more confused and angry. And I don't want to be confused and angry. I want to play Magic. So I walk away from Mutate because that's what it does to me.
When I first saw Mutate, I got very excited about it. And then I built a Vadrock deck, which is a super fun deck. But every time I saw it anywhere, I realized the smallest rules interaction completely broke my brain. Like every time something happens, what happens when you copy it, when you bounce it, if you're like trying to interact with a making multiple copies of the card as you're casting it, like there's so many little things that come up in a game that you wouldn't even think of going in. Or basically every time you play a Mutate deck, unless you are like a rules expert, you got to take like a 10-minute pause and just start Googling mid-game.
Yeah. Because everything uses the stack. The card is on a stack. The power and the toughness is over here. It has this mechanic. It's this creature, but it has this booty. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I got a hot take, like a Taco Bell dump. Y'all ready for this? Mutate is just equipments with extra steps. I'm telling you right now, that's all it is. Go get you an equipment and slap it on there. You have a better time. You actually fare off better than actually using Mutate. Mutate is only good for throwing in the trash and throwing up.
It is interesting because yes, when you play equipment Voltron decks can be some of the most fun because you don't have to do a lot of thinking. You just put things on and swing. Whereas with Mutate, you would literally have like a brain short circuit mid game to where you're just gonna have steam coming out the ears, just start twitching a little bit and just face hits table because you just tried to figure out how a Mutate stack interacts with the bounce spell while something's copied, and just nothing else is gonna happen.
It's like a Transformer movie. It sounds good on paper, but then when you watch it, oh god.
Go ahead. All right, Derek.
Confused Mark Wahlberg face the whole time.
It's a Transformer.
I love how it became Joey Wheeler. All right. Yes. So for my next one, it's going to be a very broad category, but I think y'all are going to know where I'm coming from with this. It is all of Strixhaven, especially the legendary creatures. Just to give an example of the Blood Avatar is a commander that is probably my favorite deck of yours. Said
It is not even a commander.
a deck you play all the time. I don't know what the other side of that card does. If you like offered me $1 million right now, I could not tell you what Exodus did.
I even forget the name of the card on the front.
Like, I remember in my pre-release pack, I opened the Blue-Red Legend from that set.
I think that's a Jin and a Freet. I've seen this card.
You could literally tell me it is a taco and an alligator, and I would have to believe you because I don't know. I remember I opened it, I read the front side, got really excited. I was like, this is really cool. Let me go read the back. I read the back, and I was like, this is interesting. Oh, shit, what does the front side do?
And then you read that,
and then I went back, and it was
like,
just
what does the back do again?
It was like literally like just memory wipe back and forth every time. And at the time I was like, maybe this was just no. They are novels, and this is something that y'all have probably heard from me before. And not something I should admit. I don't like to read. I am very much someone who likes like pretty colors and visuals and like audio. Give me a podcast or something to listen to. Reading it, and especially comprehension. If you tell me to like read a bunch and then immediately comprehend it, probably not gonna go super great. So when you're giving me actual novels on Magic cards, yeah, none of those. If you play a Strixhaven commander, I promise you, not only will I not remember, you can tell me anything and I'm going to believe you. Like, you can get real creative. I don't want to read it. I'm not even going to sit there to check you on it. Like,
I'm going to counter it just so I don't have to hear you read it.
Yes, number one use of counterspell. Get it from Mana Squad first. Don't counter because something's a threat. Don't counter because you're trying to be mean. Counter because you don't know what the card does and you don't want to take the time to learn it.
You know what pisses me off on every Strixhaven card? If you look at the flavor text, it always starts off with, in a long time ago in a galaxy far away. I'm like, oh, I know what's coming. Oh, one of them said it was the best of times, the worst of time. I started pooping myself.
The never-ending story.
It was like, evacuate my bowels for safety.
Ken, what you got next?
Okay, so, okay.
How is that safe to evacuate your bowels?
Oh, dude.
That's why I said just go. You think it's too long.
About that.
It makes you lighter and faster so you can run away quicker. The quicker, picker, thicker, picker upper. Anyway, so, Avatar, Dungeons and Dragons, Lord of the Rings. What do these all have in common?
The bankable movie.
For the most part, but adventures. I will never go on an adventure. I will never do this. They should have brought the Eagles. The adventures are such a big waste of time. I think there may be only be one good one out of the 50, but no, I do not want to put something in another zone. I'm so sick of zones. There's a suspense zone. There's an attack zone. There's the wing zone. I don't want to deal with zones no more.
I get it, yeah.
I still don't know how they work. This is funny because the stuff you've mentioned so far, I'm like, oh, I know how that works. And I stopped and thought about it. I was like, yeah, adventures. Like, can you even cast? Do you have to cast one side first? What's the mana value? How does it technically, like, I forgot it went to exile.
Yeah, it's a sorcery, then it turns into a creature. Like, I don't know.
It's ostrich syndrome.
I actually run one in a deck too, and I don't know how it works. I realize that's not a good thing.
It's ostrich syndrome. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. What about you, Sid?
Hey, I love that. So, next card I'm going to talk about, now that I think about it, actually kind of similar to this adventure, because you guys remember the split or fuse cards or something? Yes. Like, I don't know what the mana value is on these cards. Do we total the whole thing up on both sides? Well, when I cast it, can I cast both of them at the same time, or do I have to cast only one of them when it goes to the graveyard? And is it the whole CMC, or can I cast only one side of the thing when it's in a graveyard?
And these are cards like wear and tear, cut to ribbons, the ripping and the tearing, all those.
Yeah. The flipping and the flying,
the foot and butt,
the booty, all of those.
Love the names of those cards. I have no clue how to use them.
The drop it and then like it's hot. You know all of that. Is it hot before I drop it, or am I dropping it because it's hot?
And is it a turn down for what?
And what am I turning down for? Like, we do not know.
That is actually a really good philosophical question. You're dropping it like it's hot. Is it in fact hot? Are you pretending it's hot? If you're pretending it's hot, is it in fact cold? So are you dropping it because it's cold but like it's hot?
Is it flying high because we're balling, or are we balling because it's flying?
We're flying high.
We do not know these things.
So yeah, these cards where I gotta flip it like a treasure map or something like that, like a compass, just to figure out where I'm going or how I'm gonna cast it. I had to start avoiding these cars because like I love the designs, love what they say they do. I think, but I don't know how to use them.
Also, it also gives it away because you're gonna turn the side card sideways in your hand to read it, or you're like holding your hand and you're like, I wonder what this is.
And then it was crazy. I used to give it away because like I would be sitting there playing as my turn, and then like they see me take a card and flip it upside down. They're like, okay, he got one of those split cards in his hand.
I avoid it like the salad and bread at a steak buffet. I refuse.
I will say, I do like the Amonkhet versions where you cast the front side and the back half is in the graveyard because it was like not less confusion. It was like you can't pick both. You do one, you do the other one after. It's just like there's no zone changes. It's just there.
I remember that.
Look at that. I got something in my head. Now, my last kind of group of cards. This is going to be a lot of powerful commanders. My brain, like I think it's like a safety mechanism, has decided it refuses to learn. My brain's like, look, Derek, you're not going to outsmart this. You're not going to beat it. You're just going to frustrate yourself. Either counter it or just sit there and just like little monkey clanging symbols in my head and enjoy the time of staring off into space because this is not going to go well for me. And my two kind of primary ones that represent this, one is Kenrith. Kenrith is a commander that is just so obnoxiously and generically powerful that you do any deck with a Kenrith in it and you're probably going to just outvalue the game unless someone's playing like a super broken deck.
Yeah, you're going to out Pizza the Hut real quick.
And our good friend Jason has a Kenrith deck that I've played. I actually like his because it's very creative. And I played it against it.
Yeah, but he only uses one ability on Kenrith though.
Yeah, he only uses the one ability, and every card in the deck has cycling. It's a fun deck. But the thing is, he's played this deck probably 30 times against me. I still can't tell you a single Kenrith ability in total with mana cost and ability. I don't know any of them. Literally, if someone plays Kenrith, I'm just like, look, nothing personal. I'm going to counter it because it's so much less effort to either counter it or kill it than try to sit there and pretend like I know what you're about to do. Because you can just start making stuff up. You can just pay a mana and just exile my whole board. Can I tell you that you're wrong? Literally, I cannot. So that's one. The other one is going to be Winota, is another really powerful. I know this is more of a CDH card. But if someone back before, I think when it first came out, it was kind of popular in casual EDH. I know it's something with non-humans. There's something to do with humans. You're flipping cards. I literally do not understand at what point I'm supposed to interact, what I'm supposed to look out for, what do I kill.
Interact?
And my brain as a defense mechanism is like, Derek, it's going to kill you anyway. Just sit there and smile.
Go ahead and shuffle up the next
just start shuffling and just put a dumb smile on your face. It's not going to go
pretty
well.
lights.
Essentially. All right, Ken, what's your last one?
All right, my last one. First of all, I'd like to give an honorable mention to Foretell. I think Foretell is just cheating with extra steps because half the time y'all don't even play those cards y'all pull in the exile zone.
Yeah, I just be trying to get cards out of my hand. But just be honest.
In all honesty, I see somebody try to do it with the land. But anyway, I got to go with legendary sorceries. I hate cards with prerequisites. I just want to play the game. You have to have this, and you have to have this in order to cast this. You can have my foot between your butt cheeks. That's all thing you're getting. Because I will rage quit in a heartbeat. The left hand will grip the table. The right hand will flip it.
Yeah, conditional cards where it's like, you can't do this unless, or as an extra requirement to do this, you must have this.
You don't tell me. You don't own this deck. I own this deck. I do whatever I want.
It's... I honestly, like, I've Ken, I'm not going to just say this to be nice, but I feel like you're kind of a legend in your own right. I think you should be able to cast them anyway.
Exactly.
Ken, who puts foots up butts. Just cast whatever you want to when you want to.
They try to cast. You try to cast a card, and they're like, "Hey, where's the legendary permanent?"
I'm like Game of Thrones.
You're just sitting there like.
I'm like Game of Thrones, like the Khaleesi, breaker of ass.
First of his name.
First of his name.
Last of my nerve. First of his name, last of my nerve.
Flipper of tables. The list can go on. So you get what I'm saying. You catch his drift. So all in all, there's these cards and these mechanics.
Unmuddied.
breaker of stalls.
Clogger of drains.
Hottest of takes.
Anywho, if you see any of these cards that we mentioned, and maybe you can make them work better for you, why don't you check out our affiliate link at the bottom with TCG Player about yourself, local LGS, and us at the same time.
You can pick up the card and just read it every morning, and maybe you're better than we are.
Maybe something will absorb and stick.
Somebody will remember a card from Strixhaven. I believe in you out there. Please do it. Well, if you can't remember what your cards do and you're just confused, at least you can look good while you're confused. Said, how can we do that?
You can do that by making sure you get your apparel from It to the AM. You can look at our affiliate link, enjoy yourself 10% off as you use that link as well. So make sure that you can not only look fly as you're playing on the table, but if they're looking from space, something about they can't hear you scream, but at least they can.
I think I got it. I think I got it. It's something about when you drip enough, you'll scream. So eat your Subway in space.
Yeah, on the ground.
Drip, drip.
Right.
I don't like any of this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. But until next time, stay filthy.